Retractable hoses have revolutionized the central vacuum industry, and as you've seen in my other videos, my home came with a standard central vacuum system, which I have updated with a bigger machine and different wall inlets. These are vacuum aid inlets, and I hadn't seen the need to install a retractable hose system, which thanks to the efforts of one manufacturer, the retractable hoses in general tend to be known as hide-a-hose systems, in the way that facial tissues are known as Kleenexes and wet dry vacuums are known as shop vacs. But so hide-a-hose has been the market leader, and for better or worse, their products have good and bad points about them. But in the last year, HP Products Vacuflo has introduced their own retractable hose system. It's known as the Chameleon, and I recently took the opportunity to install one here at home. This is the door of the Chameleon, and one of my first things that I noticed was that the door has a nice magnetic catch to it, and it also has a little detent. That little dimple at the top is what keeps the door open, thanks to this little spring-loaded nub here. And in this design, the valve door is separate from the valve body, and the valve body is what you install during rough-in. And the hose, as you can see here, just pulls out. It's got a longer end than the hide-a-hose. You can put the tools directly on here. It does swivel. I like the hose sock version. And you'll notice that there is no seal on the door. The seal is accomplished by seating the handle end of the hose on this little rubber ball that my finger is on right in there. And behind that little ball is a switch to turn the system on. But I'm pulling the hose out. The other thing, if you're familiar with hide-a-hose, you know about the hose lock that you engage that has a friction grip on the outside of the hose. And in this design, there is no such hose lock. You pull the hose all the way out, and once it reaches the end, you just pull. And that click engages a lock at the end of the hose, and you can now turn on and do your vacuuming. And then when you're finished vacuuming, you take this hose. It's a really intuitive movement. You just kind of twist it a little. And now, with my hand on the hose handle, this will start bringing the hose back up. And when I've just seated that hose handle back in the valve body, it has also depressed the off side of the switch, and the system is now off. So to lock the hose, you pull it all the way out, but if you pull it only part way out and vacuum, you can do the job without the hose migrating back in the wall too much on its own. So the lack of that hose lock is not really bothersome. I'm going to show you the piping. One of the things I like about this house is it's really easy to do anything, because it is a ranch with a full basement and a full attic. And the basement's finished with a drop ceiling. The attic is not. Once I add some additional insulation up here, it will be somewhat harder to access all this stuff, but that's why we're doing this vacuum now. So there's where that pipe comes up out of the dining room wall, and we have a 40-foot hose, so I had to run 45 or so feet of piping, and you can see it just makes a big loop. And at this point is where it meets up with existing piping that I had installed a couple years ago to service an inlet in the garage as well as an inlet in the laundry room, a spot inlet. And that pipe goes down and mates with the rest of the system through an inlet that was already present. But nice easy install. And one thing about the fittings that the Chameleon system comes with is they seem to be much heavier, much nicer quality than the hide-a-hose fittings. And so I appreciate Chameleon HP Products putting the effort into, rather than just developing something different or something cheaper just to capture some market share in the retractable business, they have actually gone and really done a beautiful job of engineering out some of the issues with the Hide-A-Hose product. And overall, I'm quite pleased and highly recommend it.